Good evening. I want to welcome you to the regular scheduled meeting of the Akron School Board. And this is a historic night for us here at Akron Public Schools. This is the last meeting that we will have in the Dr. Sylvester Small building. And so we're grateful that we would have an opportunity tonight to share it with some of our fine students and families as we move from this place just a few yards, I guess, on Main Street and our new facility. And we would hope that when occasion arises that you would come and visit us there. Very nice facility, and you are all welcome to come once we've finally gotten everything squared away. This building will shut down tomorrow.
Yes, tomorrow's the last day.
And tomorrow's the last day. So again, it's a historic time. And for us, I know for me, it's been a long time coming to this building, and there's lots of memories. But those memories will go on as we move to our new location. So again, thank you for being with us this evening. Roll call.
Mr. Alexander.
Present.
Mrs. Baylor.
Here.
Mr. Bravo.
Here.
Mrs. Lasher.
Here.
Mrs. Mansfield.
Here.
Mr. Miller.
Here.
Reverend Walker.
Present.
And our student board representative from North High School, Manisha Rai.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Monisha Rai will lead us in our Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, we have recognitions from Collegiate. Chapman.
Superintendent James has a superintendent seminar. As you are all aware, a group of seniors, 2 from each high school, who meet with him monthly. And at this time, I will turn it over to Mr. James to provide our students with their awards.
All right, so during the school year, every month we'll either have a meeting here, which, I couldn't make half of them because this was a busy year for us, or venues within Akron. A couple of those were
United Way of Summit County. We visited the Summit County Department of Job and Family Services in their new building on South Main Street near our op building. The Summit County Historical Society during Black History Month for Four Corners activity at the John Brown home. Where else do you remember going? You have words on me. Financial literacy session here. Yeah. And the state of the schools address to hear Superintendent James so they could come back with all their questions.
Exactly. So tonight I'm just going to go through the list, and I want you to come up and grab your plaque.
Nice.
I know we have some who aren't here. I don't believe Dana Beasley is here from Bookto, but we do have Keasia Williams, I believe. Come on up.
Photographer is on his way.
Mr. Walwitz.
Yeah, we can do that.
That's right.
All right. Next from East is Alexis Buchanan. And then from Elliot Mason Lehman. Also from Ellen is Claire Strusaker. All right, from Firestone, James Garsher. And also from Firestone, Kalia Roberts. All right, and from Kenmore Garfield, Levi Ferry. Also from Kenmore Garfield is Malaya Owens. And let's see, from North, Malaysia Kelly. Thank you. And then from STEM, we have Mariah Fort. Okay. And then Robert Frazier from STEM. All right, how do you want to handle the picture, Mr. Williams?
Everybody stand up.
Right here.
One up,
Could you
right
encircle
here.
the tall guy at the...
Yeah.
Let's turn the screen.
Well, you gotta talk.
Yeah, the other tall.
Parents, if you'd like to come over.
I'm sorry. Oh, yes, absolutely. Thank you. Others? Just pretend your picture's being constantly taken.
Yeah, her hair is. Are we holding up? Yes, good.
Just keep smiling a little while longer. Keep smiling. How long can you smile? Is that it? Got it? More? Wait, hold on. You want to come up here? Better angle?
Did you get it?
Are we good?
Everybody?
She says yes. You say no? You say yes. Okay, thank you.
I want to thank you for your outstanding work with the superintendent, and we applaud you on your excellent work that you're doing in your scholarly activity and your athletic activity in your various schools. You represent all that's great about Akron Public Schools. So we hope and pray that you are Akron proud, because we are proud of you. Thank you so very much. At this time, we'll have a presentation from our Esports Program. And you are free to leave.
Bye, have a good day. Our video is going to be really good. No.
Is that?
I think you need to turn on the screen.
Yeah, after the esports.
Okay.
Not connected.
I don't know esports. Okay.
Well, I mean, keep the participation.
Esports is coming up next. I don't know if they have a presentation. I'll make it very fire for video.
Okay.
I might be there.
But you're not connected to that.
Okay.
both here.
Come on down.
We have our principal from Akron Early College, Cheryl
I brought
Conley,
the experts with me.
and then Michael Fay and Buzz Prager.
Yeah, I'm just here to introduce Buzz and Michael. They're going to talk about the Esports Team at Akron U.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
I'm Michael Fay. I'm the director and head coach of the Esports Program at the University of Akron. We're about a year young. As of right now, we just completed our first full season up and running. The whole mission of our program is that we believe students learn better when they're empowered to learn through the lens of their passions. And so when it comes to gaming, we found that there are over 1,000 students on the Akron University campus that are interested in gaming and are finding really interesting ways to use it to develop crucial academic, social, and psychological skills in very similar ways that you would from traditional athletics and all of the different professional jobs and trades that branch off of the sports industry. And we're here today particularly representing one aspect of our program, which is our varsity esports teams. Buzz here is one of our varsity players. He comes from Akron Early College High School, but also represented the University of Akron at Nationals just a month ago, where the Akron Zips took first place at the NCAA Final Four Fan Fest in Rocket League. So we had our own little Final Four going on in the Minneapolis Convention Center, and the whole entire thing was actually streamed live to an audience of tens of thousands. And then a recording of it was actually aired on TBS the week afterwards. It featured Buzz quite prominently. So anyway, we are here to answer any questions and go a little bit more in depth into what that whole process looks like at the university level. And if you have any questions, you have anything to say, Buzz?
Hi, I'm Buzz. I'm a junior at Akron College. It's been a ride with esports. It started in 2017, right, when they announced? Mm-hmm. Well, they announced in 2017. We were on our way down to Florida, and I saw it, and I freaked out. I was like, there's no way this is happening. And from there, I applied, and me thinking that it's a University of Akron thing, I didn't think I'd be able to get in or be a part of the team. But because of because of Akron Early College and having the dual enrollment, it actually allowed me to be on the University of Akron team, and I was able to grow from there. In December, we played in the first Nationals for the Rocket League event, and we placed third in nation. And then for the most recent one, we got first in. So it's been a crazy ride.
Any questions? Yes. Yeah.
Just for you, well, I love the program, first of all.
Thanks.
And not only do you have that program, but in the summer you also offer summer camps. So my son is actually planning on participating this summer. So we're very excited about that, or he's very excited about that. What do you hope to do from the esports program? Is that something that you want to pursue long term? And if so, maybe what part of the industry?
My plan right now is to pursue professionally as like a player, but if not, if I can't like go in as that, I'm going to try to like still be a part of the esports scene, as in like building stages for like big esports events and stuff like that.
And we have a bunch of students within our program that have had the opportunity to go on to do internships with major esports broadcasters as well as event organizers. And some of them are even in the final stages of getting jobs at some of the largest esports stores in the nation.
And from the programming to the design to the coding to the distribution to the, I mean, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry. Any idea how big it is?
Yeah, so esports revenue is projected to hit $1.2 billion worldwide in 2020. And for the past 5 years or so, it's been seeing between like 30 to 47% growth every single year.
And that's just game sales?
No, so that is revenue off of ticket sales as well as advertising, sponsorships, media rights, all of the kind of monetary aspects that go around the actual competitive aspect itself. The game industry is a whole nother leviathan that is already well within the $1 billion. Yeah.
No, I was just going to say, Buzz, you want to tell about your scholarship dollars?
Oh yeah, from these two events that we played in and placed very high in, our team has accumulated about $16,000 to $17,000 in scholarship money from just this 1 year alone. If we would have done better in the first event, we would have got around $24,000 and upwards because it's just growing.
I do not know very much about the esports world, but are there team elements, or is it more of like an individual sport?
No, it's entirely team. You play as a team. For my game, it's a 3-man team. So there's like different positions as on the field, because my game is soccer with cars. As simple as it sounds, it's very hard. And
It has a roof and they bounce the balls off it.
It's
I
crazy.
watched the TBS show. It's crazy.
But there's many aspects of teamwork in this, and there's like leadership positions you can take in these teams. Like in another game called Counter-Strike, there's like in-game leader who like calls the shots and of the plays and everything. And there's so many aspects of teamwork in it that it's just like a regular sport.
Yeah, and then currently at the varsity level, all of the teams that we have are for team games. But the reality is, I think sometimes people tend to think of esports as like one sport, like football. The reality is each video game is its own sport. So just like our athletics department has football, soccer, basketball, we have Rocket League, League of Legends. Some of them are 6-player teams, some of them are 3-player teams. There are competitive esports that are 1-player, but we don't currently offer scholarships for any of those. And as far as leadership roles go, we also offer scholarships for student coaches and student team managers for each of the teams as well. Yeah.
Do you guys travel or you just stay at the university? I mean, because that's...
Well,
for us, it's going to be a bit different than everyone else's.
So for the Rocket League team, because we're at such a high caliber compared to other like universities across the nation, we yes, we traveled. We traveled in December. We traveled to Arlington, Texas for about 4 or 5 days, and then just recently, as you said, in Minneapolis, we traveled to play during the Final Four Fest. And there's many more options of travel in the future. So.
In general, for each of the games, their collegiate season culminates with a national final that is usually an in-person event that people travel to. The rest of it is primarily online, with the exception of some one-off invitationals and stuff, which you can travel to as well. But I know that, on the university side of things, it helps with costs a lot, that we don't have to travel too much. And of course, we're more than happy to travel when these guys are
You guys hosted an event at Akron U, didn't you?
That's true, yeah. So we hosted the first inaugural Zips Esports Collegiate Invitational about 3 weeks ago. We had over 10 schools, about pretty much all of the schools in Ohio that currently have esports teams came here actually to Quaker Square, where we moved all 92 of our computers into that venue and ran 5 tournaments in all 5 of our varsity games. Something important to note about that as well is that event was entirely student-led. The students did the organizing, they did the marketing, they did the branding, graphic design, broadcasting, commentary, all facilitated by the staff in the program, but trying to give as much experiential learning opportunities as possible before they graduate.
Great.
I had the opportunity to hear you speak last week, and you said there was 3 different levels at the university. I think you said club level. And I was sort of intrigued on how you're getting kids out of their dorms or whatever. Could you speak a little bit about that part?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things that I find personally, my MFA is in emergent media, and I focused my entire degree around the management of online gaming communities. And one of the things that I find really interesting in the research is that there's some research that indicates that online gaming communities actually tend to contribute to the social capital of the physical region they represent when they represent a physical region. But the reality is the internet will connect you to anyone, right? So before Buzz was participating in the Rocket League team, he was probably not playing with 6 other Rocket League players all based out of Akron. He's probably playing with a few people in Florida and California, people he would never meet. And when we first started the program, the #1 thing that students said to me was, are you sure there are other students on campus that like playing video games like I do? And it's because they're all playing online by themselves, kind of isolated. And so by creating a physical space where we could foster an in-person community for gaming, we find that one, it's way more holistic because it removes that mask of anonymity, and students are much kinder to each other. They foster each other's growth a lot more. There's a much better team spirit. But then also they get to, actually have that team environment where they can fist bump or high five after a win. They can console each other after a tough loss, and it's not just turning off your computer right when you're done. And so to facilitate that on our campus, we actually have 3 gaming facilities. One of them is in our student union. That's a space where any student can come in. If they're in good academic standing, they can use our state-of-the-art gaming PCs and consoles to play for free. And we have most of the most popular games for free as well. But then students can also create clubs around their favorite games. So we get emails all the time, particularly for Rocket League, now that Rocket League has gotten so much visibility, of people saying, Coach, sign me up, I'm ready to play for your varsity team. but the reality is we have over 700 students who want to play on the varsity team. And so to facilitate that, we have a club program where we help to walk students through the process of forming a recognized student organization around their game. In the past year, we've helped form 16 new student organizations on the University of Akron campus. We have one for every single one of our varsity games because those have another 80+ students who want to form teams and get together for events. And then all of the other games that maybe aren't big enough to have a varsity team yet, the club scene kind of serves as an incubator. If there's enough people to form a team, we help them to form it, give them a space to practice and any support they might need to run events, tournaments. We have clubs that do invitationals. They get students from Bowling Green and from Kent State, Cleveland State, so it's very popular.
Can I ask what grade you're in, Buzz?
Junior high school.
So I just want to comment on how well-spoken and how incredibly, how you've made this so interesting for all of us. That's not a super easy thing to do. I mean, we talk around this table all the time about how we're teaching students for careers that don't even exist yet. And I think what you've helped prove to us tonight is none of us could ever even have fathomed such a thing as this when we were in college, or even when my oldest, who's just graduated from college, was in high school. This was not something that anyone had ever even dreamt of. So thanks for sharing your enthusiasm tonight. I really appreciate it.
So make a comment. Buzz, you carry yourself really well and representing us very, very well. I'm just sitting here, I'm kind of awed up because I don't know much about video, but just listening to you, I mean, it's great. And you represent Akron Public Schools, you represent the University of Akron, and we really, really appreciate that because we are APS proud. Love it.
Do you have more students that are also?
No, Buzz is our only
I'm
one.
the only one on the varsity university team. Now there's there's players from our school that go to the STEM esports team, and they're part of the STEM, like they have varsity teams and they have club teams, and I know a lot of kids from our school go to them, but
Jeff
I'm the only one.
Carana down at STEM has been recruiting across the district for kids to come there to kind of feed into the Akron U esports team. So he's helping the kids get started, and I think you guys were going to go down and you said you were going to try and recruit, mentor them and stuff?
Yeah, I've been, like every once in a while I show up to the practices because they hold, I think twice a week they hold practices, Monday, Wednesday, and I'm normally free during the time of their practice, so I'll go down there because I'm obviously, not to like brag, but I'm a higher tier player than they are. But
Just to give you an idea, Buzz is 0.03% highest performing Rocket League players in the nation. Not collegiate, not high school, everybody from 7 years old to 50 years old.
I feel like you should have set us up so we could play them, right?
But I like going down there and helping them because there's certain types of rotations in the game, there's certain types of plays that you want to do that you don't want to do, and I love going down there and being able to help them with that and help them grow as a team because it's great to see that.
Now, you mentioned scholarship money, where does that go?
So we are really finding that out right now. This is our first time taking in scholarship prize money, but essentially it gets paid out to the university, and then we allocate that back to the students to help them pay for tuition, help them pay for books and things like that. Obviously for Buzz, he's not paying tuition, but I've promised him that we're keeping track of all the scholarship money he's earned, and if he wants to come to Akron, it's his.
I just want to thank you for your leadership in this whole endeavor and what you're doing and the camaraderie that you guys are creating a culture, a very positive culture for the millennials and the things that they like to do, utilizing, the technology and things like that and embracing and meeting the students where they are. That's key, especially in today's academic, world. So you guys, and you, oh my gosh, nationwide, that's huge. So just congrats on the, what you've done, and it's taken off, and there's so many other lives that's going to be impacted in a very positive manner.
Building on that, this is something that's already incorporated in a lot of teenagers' lives. They play video games anyways. So incorporating this in their schooling and having it where they can build off of that and meet their classmates that play the same games, and that can build friendships, that can build teamwork. It's just this is something that's already in their lives, and just when you build on that, it just makes it even better.
I promise we don't coach him. I want the second.
Well, when they started this team, Michael and I spent some time on the phone because he wanted Buzz on his team. It's like, what do we got to do to make this happen? And so he was a full-time student and working with Kelly Harold and the other pieces and parts of the university, we were able to pull it all off. So it was great.
Buzz.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Thank you so very much.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming. They even have females in the program, so.
At this time, we have a presentation, a video presentation, When I Grow Up, by Beth Winter.
That's actually Rachel.
Oh, Rachel, okay. I was looking for her, I didn't see her. and I was-
So I'll introduce it as we put the projector back on.
When I
We
grow
turned
up.
it off,
What did I say?
so that the superintendent wasn't blinded during that presentation. At our College and Career Academy Steering Committee meeting, we showed to the members of our steering committee a video that was put together that talked about future aspirations of our students. As you well know, our College and Career Academies is not just high school, it's pre-K through 12. And so our work is already starting on elementary age and middle school to build this capacity. After we showed the video, do you want to take it from here, Mrs.
Sure.
Mansfield, as to why we're showing it today?
So I was at this meeting and got to see the whole video. We're going to see a shortened portion tonight, but I said the board needs to see this. First of all, what an incredible job that was done to put it together, and then edit a smaller version. But just, I wanted you to have the encouragement that I had that morning, being able to see, we're making decisions here. Everyone around this room is doing hard work every day, but sometimes it helps to see the faces. And I'm a sucker, so. I don't know. You can ask for her.
Oh.
Trying to get sound for you. Hang on.
Yeah, it sounds kind of like what.
Maybe the last time you had to stand up.
So as we wait for sound, I'll just let you know that it is. There we go.
What do you think you want to be when you grow up?
A mechanic.
What kind of mechanic?
The one that fixes tires and fixes their engines. My name is Mia and I want to be a teacher.
See?
My name is River and I want to be a policeman and catch bad guys. My name is Marley and I want to be an artist. I want to be a coach. A coach for basketball or soccer, but I like soccer now. My name is Zoe and I want to be a nurse. My name is Saxon Lane and when I grow up, I want to be a zookeeper. I want to be a police officer when I grow up to help the city, the community, and be a great person. Well, I want to be an architect. Be a builder. I like building stuff. I'd love to be a teacher. I like to teach kids when they grow up and make them smart. I want to be a paleontologist. I want to be like a fashion designer. Like when I like make people's clothes like fashion shows and stuff. My name is Angel, and I'm going to be a cosmetologist or a massage therapist.
Actually, now I want to be a corporate lawyer, and I guess after a few years of being a corporate lawyer, I wanted to start my own business.
When I grow up, I want to be an engineer or a math teacher because I always found mathematics and building things very intriguing.
So now, for my career, I'm really not sure what I want to do. I was leaning towards biomedical engineering for a little bit. And then this past semester, the fall one, I took principles of chemistry at the University of Akron, and it was not for me at all. And I looked into that major and I realized I had a lot more chemistry, and I thought that would not be a smart choice, so I'm kind of taking a step back. Engineering is probably not going to be my thing, so I'm looking into stuff with like business or other social sciences.
Train really, really, really hard, and you have to go to college.
Well, I think since I go to Akron Early College, I'll get a feel for what an engineering course is like and what a mathematics course is like, and then decide based on how I like them, which one I'll choose. And if not, I can just do both. I mean, I think I could, so.
Grades, hard work, being dedicated, and practice. You cannot get through life without those 4 things.
So we just wanted to stay rooted in the work and remember that everything that we do is about making sure that those dreams come true for our kids. And it's always good to have, I'm with Lisa, it's always good to have a name and a face, and our goal is to make sure everybody reaches their goals. Are there any questions that I can answer?
Patrick was wondering if we could get, you could send us a link for the whole thing.
The 9-minute
Yeah,
one?
so they
Sure,
can do the 9 minutes.
Absolutely. Happy to do that. Thank you.
Thank you so very much.
You did, didn't
We see where things begin and the possibilities that our little ones have and the possibilities of those in our middle and senior high school aspire to. So that was very good. So when we finish growing up, we hope to be something like what young people want to be.
They were that cute though.
Any community reflections?
Oh, just yesterday, I attended a junior Leadership Akron graduation. I had no idea this was going on for like 32 years, and shame on me. But there were Akron Public School students there. One young man from Bogota, they let him have a speaking role at the event, and then I knew some other parents and their students as well. But it was just phenomenal to see those students graduate, and this has been going on for quite some time, and I'm like, what? But it was a wonderful event, and very well attended, and rightfully so, because anytime students are doing something, you know, it's a good place to be. So I really enjoyed that. Then Bruce, Morgan, and myself, we attended the Women's Board, which they help the students who are in trouble from the juvenile court system. And of course, Bruce knows probably a lot more about that he could tell you, but it was just wonderful to see these women who are hard at work trying to help give students who are having difficulties a second chance to get it right and to help them along throughout that process. A very dedicated group, very hardworking and very heartfelt work that they're doing out there to help our children. And Bruce and Morgan, you guys can elaborate further if you like on that.
This is Summit County Juvenile Court Women's Board, and they do a lot for the kids who are housed in detention. Some that don't have the parents to come see them, some that don't get anything for Christmas or Easter or things of those nature. They come in, they're kind of like surrogate, and they make sure these kids get something. They teach them. They have a teacher who does art down in then she teaches them through art so many different things. And she had a lot of the art that these kids who have made on the tables. It was just, it was nice. I mean, it's always a good event because these women work hard for the kids, and I mean, that's their goal, is making sure that the kids get what they need. And so I'm kind of, I don't want to say, I'm ingrained and been there because I've worked with these ladies for over 30 plus years, and they have gotten money that they've raised to give to make these things happen for these kids. So it's really good organization, very good organization.
Anyone else?
The women of the board were well represented at the PTA recognition. It was Dr. McWilliams, Woods, Morgan, Ginger, and I were there. That's really unusual. It doesn't usually end up that way. So we had a lovely time, as always, recognizing the students that received the PTA scholarships. Great, huge shout out to the Council of PTAs for putting on that event every year. It ran like clockwork this year. And I have to say, Dr. McWilliams Wood's speech was one of the best I've ever heard her give. And it was very well received by the students. I think they really enjoyed that. And then this morning, Morgan and I were at the Heart to Heart breakfast, and I've carried this with me all day because this, I think, their theme today was everything that matters cannot be measured. And all I could think all day is how well that represents the work that we do every day. You cannot put into words or into a number or into a letter grade all the work that gets done in this district every day. So, and the speaker this morning, oh my gosh, he was from Goodyear, Billy. Oh my good, I've never heard him speak before. I think he could do every graduation speech and we could all just sit still because he was just absolutely amazing. So just a huge shout out to them for that event and for this reminder today.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Keep going in order. A couple things I wanted to mention. I went to the screening of the short film No Small Matter. That was Kevin Thompson was championing that for PNC. They had Darren Weimer from SEI there, but it's basically all about the importance of early childhood, and from pregnancy through till they come in our doors in kindergarten. If you have an opportunity to go see that movie, or that's about 15-20 minute short film, it's well worth it. Also had the privilege of giving some remarks to the Optimist Club this year for their scholarship program. That focuses strictly on Akron schools, a couple of parochial schools, but we have scholarship winners from every one of our high schools represented. And the Optimist is not necessarily based on GPA, but on character and what the kids do and participate in the school building. So that's always that's the second time I've been there in 8 years. It's always a good recognition. And I just wanted to expand upon, as I said, I had the opportunity to hear Michael Fay from the the director from Esports, speak last week. And I was trying to coach out of him one thing he didn't say about the esports program, the club level, gets kids, out of their basement or, out of their computer screen onto campus, and those clubs are actually electing presidents, vice presidents, secretaries, and things of that nature. So it's getting kids out of the house, out of the dorms, and, starting to teach some leadership skills of a group of kids that might not necessarily get out and about. And one of the first things I thought then, as I thought again today, it'd be wonderful if we have that in each of our high schools as a club sport or option or whatever. So it's something, I was skeptical when I heard esports, but then after you hear what it's actually doing and how it's engaging kids on campus, it's an awesome idea.
I've just got a few things. first, I got a chance to go to the Collegiate Academy's community meeting, kind of the 101 at Outlet. It was the first time that I felt like I was getting not only the bird's eye view that we get here, but really like the ground level strategy of it too, and how we're communicating. And Ron Bouldry, Principal Curran, that they all did a fantastic job, and the kinds of questions we got were really interesting to hear. It was things like transportation, requesting transfers to high schools, and I think that kind of information was really helpful to hear, especially as we're thinking more about the strategy of it. So I really appreciated that. Also got a chance to go to the Akron Roundtable last week and heard the CEO of Signet Jewelers speak. And also just to echo the Akron Council of PTA's event, I think we talk a lot about community partnerships, and a lot of times we mean foundations and businesses and nonprofits, but those community partnerships with parents and with educators and counselors, massive thanks to all of the people that participated in that event, but also the kinds of scholarships that they were able to give to the very, very deserving kids. And the juvenile court, spring fundraiser for the women's court was really cool. I didn't know much about that organization. It is worth a Google if you are like me and don't know much about them either. They are certainly a very strong strategic partner for us as well. I mean, we're serving lots of the same kids, I think, probably. And they're, in their system, they're really helping kids feel loved and creative and worthy. So that's a fantastic event.
And Monisha.
I'll be doing our school reflection. So hi everyone, I'm Manisha Rai, and I'm junior at North High School. My board member, mentor, Mr. Brooks Alexander, is also a proud graduate of North High School. North High School is our first wall-to-wall college and career academy building in Akron Public School. North High School is a very diverse and unique school. We have lots of experiences that prepare us for college, career, and college. 90% of all ninth graders had a college visit. Colleges students visited are Musking, Youngstown State, Hiram College, Kent State University, University of Akron, Stark State, Cleveland State, and Mount Union. I like the Stark State the best because it is affordable. 95% of our 10th graders participate in the industry field trip. Students went to the job sites aligned to their pathway. Students visited AT&T. The pathways are entrepreneurship and marketing. The Child Development Center and Kent State University. The pathway is early childhood education. Austin Simulation Center. The pathways are healthcare operation and allied health. Hiram College. The pathway is biomedical science, and this is also my pathway. Goodyear. The pathways are programming and software development. High voltage. The pathway is IT support and services. First Energy. The pathway is also IT support and services. Local 219. The pathway is HVAC. 80% of 11th and 12th graders participate in job shadow. Sites students visited are Akron Children's Hospital, YMCA, University of Akron, Famous Supply, Keystone Technology Consultants, OE Connection, Drive IT, Main Street Gourmet, Axis Pointy, construction site at Thomas Middle School. I'd like to finish with one last set of facts. One senior earned the EPA refrigeration credential. 41 seniors have earned one or more Rise Up Customer Service Industry credential. 5 seniors earned the Childhood Development Associate credential. 21 seniors and 7 juniors, including me, earned their phlebotomy credentials. I also just returned at 3:30 p.m. from jobs for Ohio Graduate State Competition in Columbus. Yes, at the competition, North won first place in team challenge and employment skills, and third place in employment interview. Thank you.
I'd like to say thank you to Ms. Whitfield, because when I hear mentoring, I think you're supposed to be out doing something. So I was a little nervous because I didn't know I hadn't met with Monisha. I kept saying I'm gonna get to the school, but I went to the school. Her principal was there. Ms. Whitfield was there, And it was just amazing to see all the stuff that goes through what they have to do, the questions, the work. That I mean, it's a very, very good experience for the students. And I'm just proud that Moesha, that's how she's done at North High School and how she's carried herself and done a good job there. So got a lot of good things going on in Akron Public Schools. And I mean, I don't know what to say. I'm just kind of amazed with the things that are going on. And more I see, the more and more I say, that's what I'm talking about. And it makes you feel good because they're moving in the right direction. So I want to thank Ms. Whitfield, definitely, because there's some work, and I thought I was slacking, really. I said, Bruce, you got to get on your job.
Take it a little bit further, because it seems like lately I've been having a lot of conversations with people who are questioning what we're doing here at Akron Public Schools. And I have to take them all the way back, okay? We're starting from pre-K. We're changing this thing. It's going to take some time, but believe you me, it's in progress and it's working. So it's just like, you know, people are like, so how do you answer that? I said, it's simple. I just let you know what's really going on, because a lot of people don't know what we're doing here at Akron Public Schools, and that's just going to be. We can't. We're not. We can, but we probably won't educate everybody. But at least the people that stand before us, we can give them a snippet, or even an overall purview of what is really going on in our school district, and it's fabulous. I mean, we're like none other, and I'm gonna toot our horn if nobody else does, because this is a fabulous, fantastic district. We have great leadership in Mr. James and Dr. Woods and the board. Hello? No. And all you guys that are around here, I mean, you are the unsung heroes. You are? But it's like a big family, and I love it, because we're just great. Hey.
And Monisha, what was your pathway again?
Biomed.
And then you got your certificate, or will get a certificate in phlebotomy?
Credentials, yeah.
Credential. Yeah. Okay. So you're the one who takes the blood from us. All right. So very good. Appreciate that.
Looks like she would be good at it.
So thank you for your work that you do. The principal is here.
Yeah.
She's just beaming back there.
Doing a lot of good. Mr. Banner's doing a lot of good things up north. So I want to thank her, definitely thank her as well. Very good thing.
Appreciate it. Awesome. Our approval of our meeting minutes, our regular meeting minute for April the 15th.
So good.
Been moved and properly second. Any questions or comments? Roll call.
Mr. Alexander?
Yes.
Mrs. Baylor?
Yes.
Mr. Bravo?
Yes.
Mrs. Lasher?
Yes.
Mrs. Mansfield?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Reverend Walker?
Yes. Our superintendent's recommendations.
Mr. President, I have before me for your consideration 23 personnel recommendations, and at this time I'd like Happy McVeigh to introduce in addition to our staff here.
Erika really didn't want to have to come tonight and do this. So you'll see in the board recommendations tonight the retirement of Teresa Casu, who has been in our office working as our recruitment and retention manager. So tonight I would like to introduce to you Erika Glover. Erika attended the University of Akron, where she received her bachelor's degree, and then went on to receive her master's degree also from the University of Akron. And in May of 2017, she graduated from Cleveland State University, obtaining her doctoral degree in urban education with a specialization in policy and planning. She began working for Akron Public Schools in 2002 as a substitute teacher, and in 2007 she became a full-time intervention specialist and worked at Bookdale CLC. She then became later an assistant principal at Bookdale and worked there from 2014 to the spring of 2019. Since the spring of 2019, she's been working in our office, getting trained and helping us out. And she also spends much of her time mentoring youth through sports or volunteering with various community organizations. She's currently developing a nonprofit that she launched, OKBNU, Incorporated, to continue her goal of supporting youth. Tonight we're recommending her for the position of Recruitment and Retention Manager of the HR Department.
So
First, I need to say I am grateful and thankful for the opportunity. I'm thankful to my Heavenly Father, my parents, my family. I have the best support system ever. And then now I got to date some people in here because I am so grateful for being a part of such an environment that is empowering and allows you to really be a lifelong learner. So I was hired in as a sub. A doctor back when she was at the art building. Back when she was at the art building. And then I was on a practice team for Carla's Garfield Rams, her boys team. I was on a practice team. For Carla, I did student teaching at Firestone, where I was being mentored by Kim. And Karen Gijic had my son at Case. And Rachel, Kenya, and Tamika have all been a tremendous part of my growth as an administrator, and which allows me to come back to the board and be put in positions where, quite honestly, I don't even know if I'm that deserving of. So, you know, I want to also say thank you to the board, and thank you for even my students that were here earlier today that have influenced so much of my experiences in my career. I'm just grateful for the opportunity. Thank you.
You better put on your running shoes, because Ms. Glover has a lot of energy. I've seen her book a lot, so get ready.
Amen. And I'm just, as I told her earlier, I'm just so proud of her to see her grow and develop and take each opportunity and do well with those opportunities in your own personal life, branching out, doing some other things to not only help the students that you're working with in our public school, but others. So you are an outstanding role model, and we are so grateful that we have you with us, and that you began your work and continue to work here at Akron Public Schools. Well, thank you.
And with that, Mr. President, these recommendations are in proper form, and I move their approval.
So moved. So moved and properly seconded. Any questions or comments? Roll call.
Mrs. Baylor?
Yes.
Mr. Bravo?
Yes.
Mrs. Lasher?
Yes.
Mrs. Mansfield?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Reverend Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Alexander?
Yes.
Next, Mr. President, I have before me for your consideration 3 motions and 7 resolutions on the consent agenda. On item 6, the amount of the grant awards from GPD was just increased today by $5,500, which is going to Project Rise. Therefore, the total amount in item number 6 that we are accepting today is $23,595 instead of $23,095. And if I'm not mistaken, on one of our items, we may have some commentary from the Instructional Policy Committee, I think on our math adoption.
I think that's, is that in Business Affairs?
It's in, if I'm not mistaken, it is number 10 on the consent agenda.
Oh, sorry. Thank you. The math adoption, there's a handout in the packets that are for the board. And sorry, I was totally waiting for Business Affairs. And of course, those have been out in the hallway. We talked about them 2 weeks ago. Well, some of the things we wanted to point out to you is that this is a little bit different than the social studies one that we did in this rollout, but it still has real world application. It's digitally based, it's tightly aligned with the standards, and has conceptual understanding of math versus rote memorization. So it's learning the skills rather than just memorizing. And again, we thanked them last time, but I want to thank again all the teachers who served on the adoption committee for their months of excellent work in reviewing the materials and then helping make this final recommendation. Is that okay?
And with that, these recommendations are in proper form. I move their approval.
So moved.
So moved, properly seconded. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, roll call.
Mr. Bravo?
Yes.
Mrs. Lasher?
Yes.
Mrs. Mansfield?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Reverend Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Alexander?
Yes.
Mrs. Baylor?
Yes.
Sorry.
Finally,
Together over here.
Finally, Mr. President, I have before me for your consideration 19 business affairs recommendations. These recommendations are in proper form, and I move their approval.
So moved.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded. Any questions or comments? Roll call.
Mrs. Lasher?
Yes.
Mrs. Mansfield?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Reverend Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Mr. Alexander?
Yes.
Mrs. Baylor?
Yes.
Mr. Bravo?
Yes. No report tonight. Okay, no superintendent's report, no president's report, other than our next meeting will be in the new building. We do have our own office, school board office. The treasurer said that we might be able to do a few more things in the office. We'll see.
There's a chair.
Once we get over there. And a desk. So with the board's help, we can figure out how we can best help Marilyn and the staff to make it what you want it to look like. So it's your room, so that you can come in and do any number of things. If you have work that you have to do downtown, and bring in guests that you might have to work with. As a trustee board person, you may have to bring somebody in, etc. That space is available for us to use. Treasurer's report.
I did want to take a few minutes to respond to some of the media that we've seen over the last few days about the Fair School Funding Plan and the Patterson report. And definitely I would call this some headwinds. There's been a call to all three education organizations to call the representatives to advocate for this plan, and just a couple statistics to remind everybody where we're at as you begin to filter through those news clippings. That currently there are less than 15% of the districts in Ohio that are on our current formula. With the Patterson Fair School Funding Plan, it was over 80%. I think we achieved over 85% of the districts that would be on a formula. 2 districts would be capped funding, or we would extend funding on them. It'd take about 6 years to get them fully funded on a formula. And only 71 of the 610 districts were on a guarantee. So mathematically, the formula was working, it is working. And so I want to touch on a few items just to talk high level. They're talked about some inequities in the current formula with Patterson. He talked a lot about poverty from rural to urban. And if you remember from our presentation with Superintendent Tom Hostler, the distribution of those was driving monies to the right places. In my opinion, and in looking at the detail of those articles, it really just focused on the state side of the equation. It didn't look at the state and local partnership in total. And again, remember, we saw the initial headlines about it's driving money in a really high percentage to a district that would otherwise, we've been reinforcing over the years about taking from the rich to give to the poor, which reinforces a model that doesn't work for all. Right, so I wanted to address the inequity comment the most. That rural between poverty, rural economic disadvantage from rural Ohio to urban is very much a different animal. It is very much different about how we serve kids in rural Ohio, where we might have to have an educational service center that hires a single staff member to serve 5 different districts. Whereas districts like Akron Public Schools were afforded the opportunity to have those economies of scales and efficiencies right here. And we hire psychologists. We have a number of psychologists on staff. So I do agree that there are inequities that how you provide for those districts, we definitely need to address. But the funding formula from Patterson, Fair School Funding, was rock solid. It was rock solid, and it was transparent, and it is very much flexible to where we did get, let's say on a Friday, we had some of those headwinds given to us. By the following Monday, we had made some tweaks, or we called them course corrections in the formula, and delivered those to leadership in Columbus. So whatever the larger questions are, I think this is the week that we make our phone calls. This is the week that we call upon our representatives. This is the week that we testify. We may have some members testifying here even on Thursday to the House. We certainly don't want to push this out another 2 years. Another 2 years, a lot of things change. It becomes, as you know, with a construction item or what have you, it becomes a lot more expensive 2 years out and a lot more difficult to impact. So I would encourage you all to make those phone calls now. I know I'll be in Columbus probably Thursday supporting that testimony given, or Dr. McWilliams-Woods may even be providing that testimony about the needs for children, and having that career in Akron Public Schools to be able to address that inequity headwind head on. There's going to be possibly superintendents and treasurers from southeastern Ohio, where DeRolf was originated, about testifying in support of this plan. There's going to be superintendents who are on the guarantee who are not receiving additional money testifying in support of this plan. So I encourage you to get involved.
I want to thank you for doing that, because this is something that I've kind of been on my mind since I've started on the board, because I've always asked a number of people across the country about the formula, the current formula, and nobody can explain that. And so I don't even understand what the old is, but I do understand where you're coming from with the new, and it doesn't just help just some school districts, it'll help all school districts. And I think that was something big that you're doing, and I want to thank you for doing that, because it is something that needs to be addressed. It should have been addressed way long time ago. So
if we're making calls, is there any certain way that you want us to make them? And if we do, is everything that you would want us to say within our intra website that was created? Is that where we want to glean all of our...
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the executive summary's there. That's probably the best and high-level talking point. But the PowerPoint, having the PowerPoint available about where this formula drives money across Ohio is powerful too.
And if anybody that I would call that would maybe be comfortable enough to also ask me questions would ask about some of those things that are creating the headwinds, how do you want us, what's the biggest point there, that you're working through it, or that those districts?
I would answer, the formula is rock solid. It absolutely is driving money where it should be driven. That the vast majority of school districts, and I'm not just talking 2/3, the vast majority, of talking to a number of districts that are on the guarantee, so they're not receiving additional money, are in support of this, because for the first time, to Bruce's point, we have a funding formula that's transparent and easy to influence. The formula we have is so completely broken that there certainly can be tweaks to the funding formula over time. But to not adopt it now would provide some difficult time ahead if we planned on doing it 2 years out. It would really be difficult, right? We have economic headwinds in terms of global economic growth slowing down. That's probably what took out previous formulas before. It's cited in a few articles that if this was just about rural poverty, then we can easily fix that. I don't necessarily agree. We've known about the poverty inequities since the first DeRolf case, because it had to do about poverty inequities, and we haven't fixed it yet. So I think that time is now. If the legislature needs to grapple with the cost to implement, I think that's what should be the discussion. To the point and example I think I've used here and around the state is at no point in time when you said that we needed to go one-to-one Chromebook did we say, well, we can't afford it, so we're not going to do it. we said, what do we need to do to realign? What do we need to do to create the budget, become more efficient, so we can afford it for our children?
Any other helps that we might need? I know we have, some of us have already talked to certain partners. So want to give us individual directions on what you might want us to do, who you might want us to get in contact with?
That'd be great.
Prepared for
I
that.
appreciate it.
Okay. Committee reports, legal contracts and board policy committee,
None.
finance and capital management,
We met briefly, but we're going to hold our report until the next meeting.
instructional policy and student achievement committee.
Well, you guys have 3 update handouts at your seat. You have college and career academies. You have IPS, and you have the Family Resource Center's update. So you can take a look at those. I'm just going to talk a little bit about the Avid handout. And in the business affairs item, we approved the Avid program at Kenmore Garfield and Firestone. This is a college readiness equity-based program delivered by APS staff to specifically increase student participation in higher level courses for students who don't typically or may not be scheduled into higher coursework or may not self-select to be in those courses, but should be. So this is giving some of the students an opportunity to participate in those higher level courses, and is designed to help garner their success along with the assistance of their teacher. It's also to teach students the necessary skills to be successful in college. So at the instructional policy meeting, we had a little video about the program, and it's really gonna give the instructors an opportunity to have hands-on with the students, because it's like computerized and it's so comprehensive and it's so well designed. I think it's gonna lead into some other programs that are going to be similar to help our teachers, take, some of that burden off of them in certain ways, so they can have the hands-on approach more with the students as well. Also in the business affairs, we approved the handwriting materials from Zahner Blaser. A new law, HB 58, requires that districts start in 2019-2020 this 2019-2020 school year teaching handwriting again in the following manners, though. By the end of the 3rd grade, students must be able to write legibly, and by the end of the 5th grade, students must be able to write legibly in cursive. So that's coming back, and a lot of parents have requested that this happen. So we are answering some of the things that they have posed to us regarding cursive writing again. Also, there will be a keyboarding component in that as well. So we're going back to basics, but that's going to springboard us forward, with some other things that the students need, at this level. So that's it.
That's it? Thank you. Unfinished business? Any new business? We do not need to recess into executive session. So move. It is properly moved to adjourn. I'm sure that's what the motion is, and seconded. Any questions or comments? All those in favor? Roll call.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Trevor Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Alexander?
Yes.
Mrs. Baylor?
Yes.
Mr. Bravo?
Yes.
Mrs. Lasher?
Yes.
Mrs. Mansfield?
Yes.
Thank you.
Wow.